The Story of My Life, Chapter 11. It was lunchtime already, and the mock examination table was already pinned to the notice board, which got some students checking out what subjects they were going to have first. Some were even writing it down or taking a shot of it. The worst part of it was that it was starting next Monday. How was I going to cope? I lazily drew my gaze away from the notice board, playfully stirred my drink. You okay? Bisola asked. No, and Victoria isn't even in school today. You have any idea what? Really? Talion asked, giving me a serious look. We barely know her. I mean, Talion and I barely know her, Bisola added. Come on, girls, she is my friend. So that explains why you look sad? Bisola asked, scrolling through her phone. No, not really. Just different stuff too. She's also our friend. I'm just saying we barely know her enough for us to know what is the reason behind her absence from school today. No hard feelings, sis, Bisola explained. She stood up for you. She's our friend. We seriously need to hang out more. That can help us get to know more about Vicky, Tyan added. The last time I checked, you were always busy with your so-called group that you... Not all the time. I think we should ask the class teacher for her parents' contact or ask if she knows why Vicky is in school. Tyan suggests. Good idea. Anything about you, Tyan? My aunt is coming over. Why? For what? Tyan glared. When? Bisola dropped her phone. Soon. Is she coming over to pick you up or something? Tell her you don't want to stay with her. Period. Actually, she is coming to check on Granny and I have decided to stay. That's brave of you. Tyan's eyes looked excited. I was already thinking otherwise. I'm glad you made the right choice. Oh my, I'm proud of you. But have you told your family what did they say? I haven't told them yet. I only told Bio. He was happy about it. When do you plan on telling them? Tyan questioned. Tonight. I smiled tightly. Wow, I know you are staying here for better or worse. I mean, with everything that is going on in that house, I just want you to know you are strong, very strong, to endure staying in that house. I miss coming for a sleepover or at your house. Bisala stirred as she stirred at her drink. Me too. Those memories and the way your adopted father would check on us once in a while before going to bed. Right, Bisala? Yeah, right. I just want to say I love you for deciding to stay here. Me too. I love you. Giant hugged me. I love you guys too, I said. After lunch, we went to see our class teacher and inquired why Vicky was absent, and she said it was because she was sick. So she is sick? Does anyone where she lives? Giant interrogate. Why? Isala asked. To pay a visit, of course. But I have no idea where she lives. Me either. Hey, are you still thinking about when to get your tattoo? Yeah, not now. Maybe months to come, but not anytime soon. Alright, your choice, Bisola said as we were walking around the school. By the way, Justin, are you scared of how you are going to tell your adopted father? Aren't you nervous? I mean, I guess he will be hoping you will say yes to follow his sister. Are you nervous or not? I glanced at her, thinking if I was nervous or not. By night time, rice and fried fish was what we were having for dinner, and I was nervous like I had never been before in my 17 years of life. I had thought many times about how to lay down the statement without getting a retort for Mr. Johnson, but I just couldn't seem to find the perfect statement to say. He was dressed in faded jeans and a loose black t-shirt, and he was sitting at the head of the dining table. I looked over at Mom and saw that she was typing on her phone like Mr. Johnson. Granny was looking at something in the newspaper. We were all silent except for Basala's spoon making noise now and then on her plate. I closed my eyes briefly and decided to expect whatever would happen when they heard me drop the bombshell. What? You have decided to stay here? Why? You should have been smart enough to know you're to leave. When will you be smart? In your 20s? I was only being nice and caring to you, so you would think you have to go regardless of my love just to ease my burden here, especially ease the burden of my shoulders now. How do you expect me to feed six people, pay for school fees and other expenses? You should have thought it would be nice to go away for our sake. My mom yelled, unbelievable, with outrage. I batted my eyes in shock, and the continuous clicking of Basal's spoon against her plate took me out of my horrible imagination, and I wiggled my head. God, what a hallucination! She wouldn't be offended. She loved me. Why did I think of her instead of Mr. Johnson? Perhaps because I had thought it would be nice of me to live as my repayment for the nice things and affection I had gotten from her, to reduce the pressure on her. Why am I being selfish? I have decided to stay here. I look at everybody's reaction hurriedly to read their first expressions. I thought you were going to leave me, us, Bayo. She's staying, Bisola said, smiling as she clenched her hands together. She was excited. Yeah, I know about it already. I just thought she is in the position to tell you all by herself. You sure about this? Granny, who was sitting next to me, asked as she cupped my cheeks and she smiled at me. I nodded my head in response, smiling back. She ruffled my hair at my response and went back to her newspaper. She was glad. My mom reached for my hand and rubbed it. Happiness was written all over her thought. She didn't say how happy she was. She was just being affectionate. It was like she already trusts me to stay here. Mr. Johnson dropped his cutlery, shifted his chair back, and made an attempt to go before I spoke up. Sir, I have decided to stay. Look up at him. He frowned in disgust. I regret ever adopting you. Right after he uttered that statement, tears rushed to my eyeballs and clouded my vision. Those 5 words hurt so badly and could damage a soul. In fact, the entire life of a person. No, you were happy when we were adopt her. I heard my mom snap. You love her? What's got into you? I bowed my head shamefully because I didn't know who conceived me as hot tears began to strolling down my face. Whoever conceived me caused my pain, who was my biological mother, Bayo, who was at the other side of the table, came over to me and hugged me. I wish I never told them my decision, which would have prevented the argument from going on, and I wouldn't have heard those damaging words that just wanted to kill myself right away. Hey, 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 ignore him. He's just saying jargon. Don't listen to him. Bayo whispered in my ears to calm down. Just you don't come my way in this house or else, Mr. Johnson was saying, and out of nowhere, he started choking so hard. I got frightened that I didn't know. When I quit crying, everyone was appalled. Mom rapidly went to his side and offered him water while he was beating down his chest. Hey, honey, calm down and drink this water, Mom was saying before she slapped across her face, causing the glass cup to slip and break into pieces. Mr. Johnson propped himself on the table to support himself. He grabbed the water bottle and swallowed it down his throat quickly, dumping his shirt. Satisfied with the water he drank, he gave a final cup, sat down, and rested his head on the table as he was sweaty. He must have forgotten we were eating something spicy tonight before he started lashing out those hurtful words at me. I know one way or the other it was my fault. The perception of it hit me so hard that I couldn't help but allow tears to roll down my face freely. If I only had kept shut, this whole thing wouldn't have happened. He wouldn't have choked. None of us wouldn't have been alarmed, and Mom wasn't going to get hit. I looked over at her and saw her standing, holding her face as she stared angrily at Mr. Johnson. God, what have I caused? Will things go back to normal as Bayou had believed? Do you want to kill yourself? Granny asked her son softly. I didn't mean to slap her. I wanted to slap the glass cup away because she was pressing the rim of the cup on my lips so hard it was painful. I was only trying to save you and you wouldn't open your mouth on time. I was only trying to get you to drink the water so it could calm down whatever was choking you up. But unfortunately, the only thing I get from an ungrateful person like you was a slap. I'm your wife. I know you are. You don't have to tell me. And it wasn't intentional. I said that before. Look, I'm your wife, not your punching bug. And next time you raise your hand on me or my kids, and when I say my kids, Justin included, if you ever raise your hand on any of us, I'll take some actions you will never think of. My mom was ready for war. She was backing down to look like a dummy this time around. She was standing up for herself and us. Mr. Johnson looked at her with wonder and stood up, facing her. Was that a threat? What does it sound like, honey? Go on and contemplate what I just said. Where is this coming from? And where do you think it's coming from? Mommy, Bisola called, petrified they were going to start throwing punches at each other. I looked at the table and saw that none of our plates was empty, except for Bisola's, which was almost finished. What? Mom yelled at her, and I guess she was peevish this particular night. Basola burst into tears and got Mom more annoyed. You gotta be kidding me. Mom scoffed at Basola's reaction and gave out orders. Justin, get Basola to shower and tuck her in bed. Bayo, clear these dishes and go straight to your room to sleep. And you mustn't show up down here tonight again. Justin, if your grandma's bed isn't made up, do it and go to your room now. Bayo started in fronto to clear the dishes to the kitchen and wash as Mom had ordered. Ola, better change this attitude of yours and come back to your sentences. If you are broke, you don't have to take it out on us, or you start to feel frustrated. Better still, you go look for a job again. If one slows down, you look for another. I'm saying it's easy, but it's better than killing yourself with worries. That's all I tell you. I'm going to take what I will use to pack up this broken tumbler. Watch where you step, Mom said and walked past me. Didn't she see me? I wondered and hurriedly went to Busola, who was sniffing back from crying. Her emotions were all over the place. I gave her water and carried her to get the room. I looked back in time to see Granny shaking her head as her son had his hands on his waist while he bowed his head.